Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into your weekly dose of NFL, guys. Jam-packed weekly dose this week. So much stuff to get to. Preseason week 3 happening. Final tune-up for everyone. There's only 3 preseason weeks this year now, guys. Not 4. Remember that. Let's get to some quick news first. We've got Sony Michel. Remember him? Former first-round pick of the Patriots. He's being traded to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for 2 late-round conditional draft picks. New England, obviously, total bust of a pick. I think he was picked 31st overall, Sony Michel was. Didn't acclimate to the NFL. His running style, kind of more of a scat back pass catcher type. He goes to Los Angeles. Obviously, we know Cam Akers had that season-ending injury around July 4th. That was a really early season-ending injury for Cam Akers. Darrell Henderson hurts his thumb in practice. We'll have to see with that. I want to talk about this situation more in my weekly dose of fantasy football. But this is an interesting situation. Sony Michel shipped off to the Rams for 2 late-round picks. And then how about this? Travis Etienne suffered a midfoot sprain, and apparently it's now official. He's out for the year, which is really took me by surprise. When I saw midfoot sprain, I was like, okay, maybe he's not ready for week 1. I wasn't really expecting ETN to be, all that prevalent until later in the season anyways. He is a rookie, but wow, Travis Etienne out for the year. That really did surprise me. I was not expecting that. When it comes to rookie quarterbacks, guys, Matt Nagy reiterated that Andy Dalton will start week 1 at Los Angeles, and ladies and gentlemen, so there's a few things I want to talk about, but first, Matt Nagy says, quote, "We need to see him in the regular season," when referring to Dalton. Very odd quote. Andy Dalton is a veteran. You pretty much know what you're going to get. I never thought they were going to start Fields week 1. I don't know if he's, not 100% ready yet, but I just never thought they were going to start him week 1. My prediction, though, by week 3 or week 4, Fields will be starting. The funniest thing about this, the Bears are playing Sunday night week 1 at the Los Angeles Rams in Matt Stafford's debut, and they're going to go in there Sunday Night Football week 1 and seriously start Andy frickin' Dalton. It's funny, but it's also sad. It's such a Bears thing to do. I mean, I never thought they were going to start Dalton, but that was a weird answer by Nagy saying we need to see him in the regular season. Normally, you hear a coach like, yeah, Andy's starting, he's our starter. That's kind of what they would say. He says we need to see him in the regular season. Very odd thing. Andy Dalton's a veteran. He had CeeDee Lamb last year. He had really good receivers last year with Dallas. Didn't do anything. There were a lot of injuries along the Cowboys' offensive line. Zeke was out, whatever. But Andy Dalton's pretty much washed up at this point. He hasn't played well in the preseason. Again, week 3 or week 4, he's starting. Trevor Lawrence will be starting week 1. Urban Meyer continues to try and make this sort of a fake battle. You can see this quote. Urban says, well, Minshew's not giving it up. I'll tell you what he really is. He's a warrior. It's a street fight right now. And quote, complete just coach talk. We all know Trevor Lawrence is starting week 1. We all know, I believe Zach Wilson will be starting week 1 as well. He looked good week 2 of the preseason. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on Zach Wilson. Sure, he had a good week 2. There's a lot of question marks I have about Zach Wilson. You watch him, he looks small out there. We'll see how he is. It was a good week 2, but it looks like he will be starting week 1. Trey Lance, kind of an interesting situation there. Another up and down week for Trey Lance. Some good moments later in the game when maybe he was facing second, third stringers. Earlier in the game, kind of struggled a little bit. I'm guessing he's going to be starting by week 4. He's an electric-looking player. And then you've got Mac Jones, who maybe a little bit later in the season, we'll see Mac Jones start maybe week 8 or week 9. Looks like Cam Newton will be starting the season as the starting quarterback for the Patriots. What is going on here? The Baltimore Ravens, this is it's a crazy stat. They've won 19 straight preseason games. I was going to do a stat on this last week before everybody noticed it because I had seen something where they had won 18 straight games, and in last week's weekly dose of NFL, I was going to do it. I forgot, and I hate myself because now everyone's talking about it, but the Ravens have won 19 straight preseason games. Not that it's all that impressive, preseason, whatever, but it's just weird. Like, how does that happen? 19 straight? That is a lot of wins. Unbreakable NFL records. Most consecutive games throwing a pick 6. 4 straight games, Matt Schaub did it. I don't know if that's unbreakable. I could see somebody that is, man, a pick six. That is very hard to beat. Maybe someone could tie it. Most interceptions thrown in a career, you need a lot of longevity for that. Brett Favre, I don't think anyone's breaking that. Most consecutive Super Bowls losses. So you go to the Super Bowl 4 straight years and lose all 4 years. Yeah, I don't think that's ever getting broken. We all know the Bills hold that one. Most sacks in a single game, 7. That is tough to break. It seems like it can be broken. Maybe someone gets 7.5. You get an extra half sack. Most consecutive extra points, yeah, because they moved it back. Obviously, nobody's gonna. Now it's 33-yarder. You know, it used to be automatic. Most touchdown passes in one quarter. Brady had 5. I wonder if that was the snow game against Tennessee when they were up like 45-0 on Tennessee in the second quarter. That's probably unbreakable. Now this, guys, tell me if I'm reading this wrong. I don't think this graphic is correct. It says there will be a first-time Super Bowl winner, and the yes is minus 450, and the no is plus 320. I think those odds need to be flipped because you look at two of the top teams right now in terms of, chances to win the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Bucks and the Chiefs. And obviously they've both won Super Bowls before. They've both won, the past 2 years. So I think those odds are flipped. So I think if you were to bet on there's going to be a first-time Super Bowl winner, you would be betting on the Browns possibly winning the Super Bowl this year, the Bills. You can see all those teams. Really, those are the two best chances. Maybe the Vikings. That's pretty much it. So I think those odds need to be flipped. There's no way you can get no for plus 320. There's no way. I think that graphic is wrong. NFL school stereotypes. The kid who chokes when he eats, dude. I feel so bad for Falcons fans. They had such a magical year, and you're up 28-3 in the Super Bowl, man. And the Falcons are like rebuilding now. They have Matt Ryan, who's old. They need a new quarterback. It's just tough. The kid who always does TikTok dances, I guess because of Juju. The Steelers have a professional franchise, though. I don't know if I would, just because of, Juju. I don't know. The kid with the coolest house, LA. Obviously, their new stadium. The kid who drops out before finals. Yeah, the Lions have had a tough go of it. The kid who changed his pronouns to they, them. Dude, okay, so I'm going to go on a quick rant here about this whole Washington football team name. The amount of people I have heard say, that Washington needs to keep their name as Washington Football Team. It's not a name. I don't understand why people like that. There's no nickname. It's just called Washington Football Team. So what are we supposed to call them? Washington? Or are we supposed to call them Football Team? The problem is, if we call them Football Team, there's 30 other football teams. Which one are we referring to? Why do people like the name Washington Football Team? It's not even a name. I am so sick of hearing people say, they need to keep it Washington Football Team. It's growing on me. It's not a name. I'm supposed to say, oh, the football team played well. That could apply to 30 teams. So it makes no sense. Why do people like that? I'm genuinely curious. I think it is the stupidest thing, most uncreative thing. Oh, yeah, keep it as football team. Dude, if I was a Washington fan and they actually keep it as Washington Football Team, oh my goodness. And their logo looks like a third grader designed it. Come on. The kid who blew up in Chem Lab, yeah, the Deshaun Watson. Dude, Deshaun Watson screwed the Houston Texans' future really bad. Although they probably will end up getting 2 first-round picks. You want to know the situation with Deshaun Watson? Whether or not he's guilty of any of these things, Deshaun Watson has the money to make this situation go away. And when you say, hey, to all these women, you like $3 million? They'll say, yeah, he'll give these women, some money or whatever, and they'll shut up about Watson for the rest of their lives. Again, that's just what's going to happen. I don't know if Deshaun Watson's guilty or not. I'm not trying to speculate on that, but that's what's going to happen. And, we've heard the rumors of Deshaun Watson to the Eagles. I don't know how many first-round picks they'd have to give up. It's a weird situation because Houston actually has some form of leverage because they have Watson under contract for multiple years. And, it's one of those QB contracts, so it's a big contract, but it can still be moved. Obviously, Deshaun Watson, minimum, is a top 8 quarterback in the NFL at this point. The kid who's always hurt. San Francisco really was ravaged by injuries, but that was only 1 year. The kid who's great at pretest, obviously, Baltimore, they've struggled in the playoffs recently. The kid no one likes. Boy, this person hates the Steelers, I guess. Predicting each team's starting QB in 3 years. This is always interesting. So there's a few things that I doubt. You look at Derek Carr, I highly doubt he's going to be with the Raiders. I don't think Haskins is going to be able to take over in Pittsburgh. It's an interesting scenario, but I doubt that. Spencer Rattler, we'll see. Brock Purdy, I don't think he's an NFL level quarterback. They have him as a starting quarterback. Right now he's at Iowa State, obviously. JT Daniels on the Falcons. I mean, that's a shot in the dark, I guess. Trey Lance, yes. Justin Fields, yes. Sam Howell, I love Sam Howell, dude. They must not like Daniel Jones. No, I agree with that. Davis Mills, he's not going to be starting in 3 years. Carson Wentz, I highly doubt he's with the Colts in 3 years. Carson Wentz's career is hanging by a thread right now. He needs to play well with Indy, and it looks like he's trying to start week 1. That'll be interesting. Now, there are so many things wrong with this graphic. I don't want to kill the graphic too much, but it says start your expansion team, and you have to choose a tight end and then fill out the rest of your roster with just a team, and then you choose your location, and 3 of the locations are simply, there's no way there can be a team in Tokyo or Paris, or Cuba. Well, I guess Cuba, yes, but Tokyo or Paris because of the time change. I just think this graphic is so weird. Like, you pick a top tight end and then you fill out the rest of, it's just weird. It's a weird graphic. I don't know, guys. My top 5 rookie QBs by the end of the year. They love Trey Lance at number 1, Trevor Lawrence number 2, Zach Wilson 3, Justin Fields 4, Mac Jones 5. I personally love Justin Fields. I will say I think people are being a little bit too harsh on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, this kid's a rookie. You have to understand, it's a learning process with all of these kids. By the way, guys, did you see the hit that Justin Fields took last week? He popped right back up. I think I have that hit saved. It's a crazy hit, man. I think it was definitely a flag for helmet to helmet, but that's a crazy hit Justin Fields took last week. The NFC is currently 4-28 in preseason games. I'm not sure how this is possible, because aren't NFC teams facing each other? I know some NFC teams are going to face AFC teams in preseason games, but is the NFC, somebody's going to have to look this up and tell me, is the NFC seriously 4-28 in preseason games? Not that preseason matters, but again, it's like the Ravens winning 19 preseason games in a row. These are weird stats. How is this even possible? Playoff wins since 2000. I just wanted to show it's remarkable what the Patriots are doing. I was actually a little bit surprised Baltimore was over Pittsburgh. But the Patriots, 30. The next closest, basically half. It's remarkable what they're doing. Preseason week 2 takeaways. Zach Wilson is looking good. Saheem's method seems to be working. I don't know what he means by that. Saheem is a defensive coach. He wouldn't have much of an effect on Zach Wilson. Browns have the deepest and best running back group in the NFL. Obviously, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I agree with that. Pat Freiermuth should be the tight end 1 in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I agree. He should be over Ebron, but both will play. Big Ben is not washed. I still think Big Ben's washed. I know he played well, but come on. Tua looked decisive while throwing the ball. Tua's going to be great, man. Tua really is going to be a franchise quarterback. Trey Lance looks strong. Jimmy G should start for now. Yeah, I'm guessing they're going to go with Jimmy G for the first 3 weeks. Matt Nagy may be to blame for Mitchell Trubisky's failures. Now, Trubisky's a bust, but I will say people underrate Trubisky's athleticism. The dude is mobile. He is pretty mobile. I'm not saying he's a good quarterback or anything, but he can run. It's kind of weird. You watch Trubisky out there. He's a really, mobile, athletic quarterback, but no. I mean, Matt Nagy, I don't think is a great coach. This is really his last year to prove himself. But Trubisky, I don't think he's a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL, and you can't blame Matt Nagy for Trubisky being terrible. Trubisky's just not that good. Now, Matt Nagy probably didn't help, but I wouldn't do that. Linebacker rankings. This list reminded, it's like there's really no dominant linebackers in the NFL. I know Darius Leonard got the massive contract. Bobby Wagner's a beast, but he's getting up there in age. Fred Warner. To me, there's just no really, where's the Patrick Willis? There's just no Patrick Willis in today's NFL. There's just no purely dominant. You know who I do like? Zach Cunningham. He's not on this list, unfortunately, but I really do like. Devin White could turn into something. Yeah, Devin White. Roquan Smith was picked 8th overall out of Georgia. I thought he was going to really be a beast. There's no way DeMario Davis is the 7th. I'm a Browns fan. I remember DeMario Davis. He's solid, but 7th best? There are just not that many great linebackers in the NFL right now. Preseason notable performers. We know Big Ben played well. That's good for Steelers fans, but I don't know. I mean, the Steelers do have a good wide receiver core. At least I think it's kind of an underrated wide receiver core. Maybe not a top dog like when they had Antonio Brown, but you think about it, Deontay Johnson, very solid possession receiver. You've got Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool, and then you've got James Washington as your wide receiver four and a young up-and-coming tight end, Pat Freiermuth, with former second-round pick out of Penn State, along with Eric Ebron, who drops a lot of passes, but he's an athletic tight end. Those are some good weapons, and then you've got Najee Harris as a running back. That is a very good situation for a quarterback to be in, that Pittsburgh offense. Maybe you don't have a superstar like when they had Antonio Brown, but, Chase, those are solid receivers, and it really perks my interest when you talk about Dwayne Haskins possibly coming in later in the season or maybe next year as a future franchise quarterback. He's definitely going to have an opportunity with that offense. It is a good offense. The NFL's worst wide receiver corps, the Lions. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown, but man, Tyrell Williams as your wide receiver 1, Brashard, that's brutal. Amon-Ra St. Brown, guys, in 12-team and 14-team fantasy leagues. I know this isn't the weekly dose of fantasy football. It's coming. It's coming in a few days. I do that. I film those normally on Fridays. Amon-Ra St. Brown by week 6 or week 7, possession receiver, PPR, God. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen. You've got Brandon Cooks. I like Brandon Cooks personally, but yeah, that's a brutal core. I do like Bryan Edwards of the Raiders. We'll have to see them. Devontae Smith, I'm really high on. Baltimore, honestly, it's just the way their offense is built. It's tough. I mean, I'm not a Lamar Jackson hater. I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but he's just not a great passer. He's just not. How about, unfortunately, Paris Campbell not being mentioned with the Colts? Come on, Paris Campbell is wide receiver 3. Let's be honest there. Marquez Callaway, watch out for him. More Madden rankings. The one thing I wanted to talk about here, Tom Brady should not be a 97. I'm sorry. They gave him the GOAT treatment. I get it. The dude's the GOAT. We understand, but he's not a 97 at this point in his career. I would say 91, maybe 92. How is Aaron Rodgers being below Tom Brady is crazy. Yeah, I would put Aaron Rodgers at a 98 if Mahomes is a 99. Russell Wilson's probably pretty good. Yeah, Lamar Jackson's probably pretty good at a 91. Deshaun Watson maybe like a 92. I wouldn't put him at a 94. Josh Allen probably a 92 or 93, right there with Deshaun Watson. Yeah, Dak maybe an 89 to a 90. Tannehill's probably good at an 87. I might actually bump Tannehill up to like an 88. Matt Ryan, I'd probably move down to like an 84. The best season of all time. Dude, I was just reminiscing on this season. OBJ was a superstar. Matt Ryan, dude, he definitely deserved to win MVP. He had a magical year that year. Zeke and Dak, you remember Zeke and Dak's rookie year? What did they go, 13-3? Derek Carr was literally in the MVP discussion that year when the Raiders went 12-4. The weird thing about this, it says Jay Ajayi is a Dolphin. Okay, like Jay Ajayi is not even relevant in the NFL anymore. Why? Le'Veon Bell was a Steeler, but like, why would they single out Jay Ajayi like he was a Dolphin? Jay Ajayi's been on like 2 teams in his career. He's out of the NFL, I think, right now. Joe Flacco is a Raven. Joe Flacco is the most average elite quarterback in NFL history, if that makes sense. Facts NFL fans need to accept. Best tight end when healthy. No, I still got to go Travis Kelce. They're going to use the blocking argument. I understand Kittle's a better blocker, pass blocker. I still like Kelce, personally. Best defense in the league, Rams, I can buy it. Kamara is top 3. I'm not arguing that. Best O-line in the league, Browns, I could buy that as well. Running back superlatives. Oh, yeah, I remember why I screenshotted this. Jake Funk. A white running back, guys. We got to root for this guy, Jake Funk. Draft him on your fantasy team in the last round. He's with the Rams right now. The Rams, they got Sony Michel. I discussed that earlier. Darrell Henderson, we'll have to see how well he is. They also have another kid, I think, Xavier Jones. So it's kind of a cluster. But Jake Funk, a white running back out of Maryland. I think he was a 7th-round pick. He's been playing well in the preseason. This is a weird thing. The Ravens contacted the Bears about getting Khalil Mack back. The reason this is so weird is because normally when you trade a superstar like Khalil Mack, it's because the superstar wanted to be traded. Khalil Mack didn't want to be traded. That's why John Gruden and the Raiders got a lot of heat for it. But it's like they did that without Khalil Mack wanting out. So it's like they probably really wanted to trade him, and now they want him back? It's just a really weird situation, but the Bears said, no thanks, we're keeping him. They didn't even entertain any offers. These are just some fun facts to end off the video. Rams head coach Sean McVay beat out Calvin Johnson for Georgia High School Player of the Year in 2003. McVay is young enough, I guess. Tom Brady could go 13-4 next season, and his all-time winning percentage would go down. But guys, have you seen Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes, 46 career starts. He's 38-8. That's his career record. Patrick Mahomes is crazy. Derrick Henry versus Donald Trump, both 6'3", 245. I think Henry may have a little bit more muscle. I think he might have a little bit more muscle. Tom Brady has more Super Bowl MVPs than he has losses to the Bills during his career, and he's played the Bills 35 times. In 1967, the Baltimore Colts entered the final week of the season undefeated. They missed the playoffs. I'm too lazy to look up why they missed the playoffs. Somebody else do it. The 1967 Baltimore Colts undefeated going into the last week of the regular season. They missed the playoffs. Someone look it up. I'm too lazy, guys. That is going to do it for this week's rendition of your weekly dose of NFL, guys. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.